Alright, so Justsauce is playing as Ottomans. Port Mafia is playing as Ethiopia. The good news is, though, when the out-of-sync issues do occur, they're usually limited to a specific window. So if your game has made it through this number of seconds, usually, the odds of it doing so go down over time. Like, if you've made it past a minute, usually, you're probably in safe shape. Just saying. So, yeah, hopefully this one is fine. 3 recordings in a row out of syncing would be really sad. I would, like, cry. I'd cry profusely for you if that occurred. But, that should be alright. So, this one's going to be Justsauce's Ottomans here, setting up their trading post, mosque, house build order, as we've seen in just about all the Ottoman games in this tournament. And there are a ton of them, by the way. People love this civ in this tournament because of their powerful fast fortress, fast industrial, and double barracks janissary setups. Pretty much, you need to get a mosque to trickle XP, and then you need the trading post to get you big deliveries of about 69 XP per delivery on this map. Because, as Ottomans, they love their unit shipments. They're really strong. Getting a batch of Janissaries, Abbas Gunners, Safahis, Falconets, Mamluks, other ones to name a few, they're very powerful. So Ottomans love their cards a lot, and thus the more cards that they can get, the better off they are in the match. So you're going to see this Ottoman going for any chance to get more XP that they can get, including stealing the big XP treasures in the middle of the Great Plains map, maybe going for another train post. They'll take any angle they can to do that. So, what deck is this? This deck is in Chinese, or whatever language that is, so I don't know what it's called. From the looks of it, it's a basic land deck. There's no sort of royal decree, mosque construction setup in there, so looking at either H2 gameplay or Fast Fortress of some kind. Fast Industrial is very unlikely with this deck setup. Started with the 3 Uruk Villager card, so not going for the capitalism card. That's making it much more likely that we'll see maybe some H2 combat. We'll see. How about the Ethiopia? The Ethiopia for right now is playing pretty basic. Getting the granary to start. It's a free building. Helps boost the hunting rate on your villagers. So wherever you're going to have some hunts, put down the granary. It's free. It's literally free. I'm not kidding. It's a free building. You've probably never heard of that in your life in RTS, but this building is actually free. Yeah. Another thing too, using your Abun priest that you shipped in to build a mountain monastery. So this big church right here allows you to collect stuff off of the mine that it's built on. So you can either gather all gold, you can set it to a mix of influence and gold that's sort of 50-50, or you can set it into a mega influence mode where you gather mostly influence with a little bit of gold on the side. So he's going for all gold right now. Going for architects too, hardening wood axes, placer mines for the gold. So again, all those techs out of the way. Ethiopians for their villager cards are a bit different since they don't have like a 3 villager card, but they get this infinite one. Gives them 2 vills and an Abun priest. It's probably one of the strongest infinite villager cards in Age 1, honestly. It's very strong because it gives you 2 villagers. And then the priest just ends up acting as a secondary villager because he's gathering gold and influence off of the monastery. So it's basically like having an infinite 3 villager card in reality. But it's still somehow balanced because once all the mountain monasteries have burned through their stuff, then the priest is just sitting around and doing priest stuff. So that's the only reason such a card even exists in this game, really. Yeah, it looks like the Ottoman and the Ethiopian villagers are competing here. Ethiopian explorer, I should say, is getting the gold treasure. Very good. Going up with which alliance? The Jesuits. So we might be seeing conquistadors from Ethiopia. Oh, interesting. So this is fascinating. The Ottoman win Core Master for 400 wood. But the thing they did, 700 coin before 700 wood, that's a signature that we're getting Fast Fortress. Notice how no production building was prioritized. All the food is being saved up. That means that this Ottoman will be going Fast Fortress here. there's very different signals when you're seeing the Ottomans that they're going for Fast Fortress. One might be seeing a gold trickle card first. Another one might be seeing 700 gold before 700 wood. And that's what we're seeing. So this Ottoman's going for H3 play. With the scout for about 4 free delis, which are hand cavalry. Right? So how is that going to affect Ethiopia's strategy? Well, that means, out of the gate, the Ethiopia is probably going to be gathering some influence, right? In some shape or fashion, so that they can actually get some conquistadors here. And those conks will be great, actually, against those starting delis. And if the Ottoman wants to go with a shipment of Safahi or Mamluk, conks could shut that down too. So, more than likely, Ottoman might go Cav Archer Abbas, potentially. Just because they know there's potential conquistadors. Does the Ottoman know about this Jesuit start here? They know about the church. Alright, so they've seen the church being constructed. Once you see a church, you know it's Jesuits, because the Jesuits are the only way that you get access to a church is Ethiopia. So if you see a church there, it's Jesuits, and you know to watch out for conquistadors. So that will basically affect how the Ottoman operates. So go more down the route of Abbas guns at this point than he would cavalry. If you don't see a church, if you've scouted the base zone, there's no church, then you can go for one of those hand cav options. But if you see a church, bad idea. Probably want to go more down the Abbas gun Janissary route. In fact, they're already putting out some Janissaries right now from their barracks because they got the 400 wood from the Quartermaster and then they get the 700 from the 700 wood card. So they're building up a ton of wood right now. Also picking up the second hunting technology, steel traps. As you know, Janissaries are pretty expensive in food, 90 food. They have a ton of HP on them. That justifies their high costs. So that's what you're seeing right there. They're going to ship in about 8 Janissaries. Again, the big boy Janissary card from H3. They're just going to stack up Janissaries to deal with these conks. I think it's a pretty fair move to do. The Conquistador's not the most heavy-hitting damage unit in the game, but the thing that makes them deadly, the splash attack. They do one splash, so there's a chance that they can hit multiple units, like they sort of are right here. Because the Ethiopia put down a palace dead set in the center of the map, they got this 320 XP treasure under their belt. Once they get that, it'll help them catch up in the shipping game they're probably trying to compete with the Ottomans with, Ottoman had the trading post in the moss since the start of the game. They're getting cards like crazy. Only way Ethiopia can think to catch up, getting big boy XP treasures like this and denying them from the Ottoman player. Now, the Ethiopia player is also going to H3. They also have changed the Mountain Monastery gather route from all gold to 25% influence with gold. So now they are accumulating a bit of influence because now they got some alliance units like the conks that they do need to train, so they do need the influence now. Conks going for a free volley there, which effectively they got away with. They took out a Janissary for free there, which is awesome. I like how he's using the conks here to keep going in and out, in and out. He's getting a ton of free snipes there, which is giving him a huge advantage. Oh, that's not good though. You lost 2 of them. I mean, it's fair though. I mean, he got a ton of free damages there against those Jans, so he was doing kind of good there. Kind of forced the Ottoman player to sort of go back and forth, back and forth. But they do have 2 falconets now, so they got a bit of a good piece of siege equipment there to use. Well, looks like we got an arsenal there for the Ethiopia player now. Wood being gathered. So what is Ethiopia going to get? I'm assuming they're getting a big boy shipment of a Sebastopol, and they're queuing up some Neftanyas from their war camps. So the Neftanyas, they're skirmishers, so they'll be great against Jans. And then the Sebastopol is like a big, giant, beefy mortar, death ball artillery piece. So that'll be good against a lot of stuff. My advice, make sure that these Neftanyas do not get picked off by the falconet. Use your Sebastopol and your conks to get rid of the falconets. yeah, as long as you do that, I think you might be able to hold this off. Also going for some Shotel warriors to press the artillery as well. Not a bad idea. Let's... Oh, I think the Sebastopol just grew for a few seconds and then it shrunk again. Did you see that when it grew? I think it grew like a few feet or something. That's scary. Alright, so conks. Try to protect your conks because they're going to be one of the only things you can use to keep the artillery at bay and deal with any potential heavy cavalry push by the Ottoman player. Are they getting heavy cavalry, by the way? Is there any Safaris on the field that we need to be aware of at this point? I don't know yet. Do they? Nope, not yet, thankfully. Ottoman player is still sticking to the Janissaries for now. That's good. Yeah, but you are going to have to hold on to a decent army of conks to deny Safahi Mamluk supremacy here. Oh, going for a middle town center is the Ottomans, trying to get that map control going, trying to claim this silver mine for your Uruk. Not a bad move, but it looks like Ethiopia is going to try to contest it. Ooh, going after the Explorer. Good. Yeah, get those Shotels in there. Try to get... Oh, no, you just missed it. If you could have taken him out just a few seconds earlier, you could have denied this town center. But now you got this big, burly building here you have to deal with, which is totally annoying. Janissaries is trying to hold off these Shotel warriors with shock infantry, so their scimitars do multiplier damage versus the Shotels. Calling out the Bashi Bajuks to make it even harder for him to go for a siege on this, and they will force him to retreat, which is quite serious. Also has a foundry to train more falconets, so even more artillery to make a huge presence there. Delhi's is still alive, causing raiding havoc on the map. So yeah, there's a few delis right there. Big deal. Big deal pickle. Oh, watch out. Watch out. Falconets might try to make a move on the Sebastopol. Watch out. Pay attention. Oh man, that's bad. He got a lot of free damage. Oh no, get it back. You gotta retreat that. You don't have any shot. You don't have any chance. Get it back. Get it to a safe position. Don't let those falconets snipe it for free. That'd be very bad. Very bad. Oh yeah, see that right there? That's not good. That's what you wanted to avoid. So now you lost a big critical piece of your offense. Now you're gonna have to do all sorts of weird other troops to do this now. So forced to go javelin riders to counter the artillery. Basically javelin riders or an African dragoon. Uses javelins, so it has a pretty fast rate of fire. Good for spamming against artillery and cavalry, so it takes out the artillery, which I think is good. But unfortunately, Abyss are being shipped in, about 6 Abyss gunners. These things will shred javelin riders, so you're going to have to come up with a game plan now as Ethiopia to how to deal with that now. Right, their gold is spent at this point, so they're going to have to reinforce with 1,000 gold. Alright, they're just getting their second hunting tech right now too, snares. So, they didn't get a chance to get that snares earlier, so their food is a little bit lackluster as well. What is the game plan for Ethiopia at this point? I think they lost a lot of their thunder when they lost that Sebastopol personally. Whereas the Ottoman player's got the initiative now. He's got a middle town center. He's got pretty good control of his back base. Yeah, the Ottoman player has a bit of chance to go mobile at this point. You know, he is picking up the Endurance School. Endurance School will boost the stats of his Janissaries pretty substantially by about 20%, so turns these Jans into a real threat. Right? Thankfully, Ethiopia has a palace over here to try to control this area, keep the Ville somewhat safe, but the thing is, once this Ottoman gets enough infantry, he's not going to care. He's just going to go after your Villes, and then you're going to lose that hunt. And then you're going to have a bit of a tough time trying to find reinforcements. So, yeah, you better come up with something fast, right? Because the clock is ticking. This Ottoman player is now on 2 town centers, so they're going to be acquiring Villes at a faster rate than you are, right? Oh, so the Ethiopia actually goes industrial age with the Habesha and gets Kebra Nagas. Ooh, interesting. So they're going for a big move here to get some big boy shipments later on. So they might be going to Sebastopol. Who knows? I think if they get this, that would be a huge, huge shipment. Pretty substantial one. I don't know what they would do beyond that point, but we'll find out. going for elite cavalry, so going for the veteran upgrade on the cavalries, getting veteran javelin riders. So maybe what Ethiopia's thinking, go for 2 Sevastopol's with all the guard shadow teching on them to go up against all this infantry and just protect them from Cab using the javelin riders. Yeah, the remaining Kongs. What's going on here? Looks like this is a Mount Monastery build that's getting out of dodge so these Boings can take off and gather some more gold and influence there, which I think is a pretty smart idea. Unfortunately, Town Center might be a goner at this point. You have really no force to contest these janissaries right now because the Abbess will just drop them fast. They'll drop them like mosquitoes with the fly swatter. It's not good. Getting some champion levied bowmen there, some quick emergency units. Yeah, basically with the African civs, they don't have Minutemen. What they do is you can train as many of these archers, spearmen, or gunners as you want, but they cost influence, so they cost a pretty penny since it's one of your rarer resources. So, kind of trying to throw everything he can at this, but he just doesn't have anything to do it with. And then all the vills that were caught in the base, they're caught in an early grave. Yeah, GG. Totally caught off guard there. I don't think he was expecting that. He wasn't expecting the almond player to run on top of him like that. That was a good play by the almond player, you know. Good job. Good job, almonds, for punishing him hard there. That was solid. That was really good. So I definitely like that quite a bit. And you should too. Well, if you don't like it, that's fine, but I'm just giving you advice.